Well, hi guys, another listless session on Dalal Street, and we'll be talking about that and a lot of stocks that are moving in trade today. But before that, of course, you're watching the Moneycontrol live stream, and this is Closing Bell. I'm Nandita Khemka. Well, as I mentioned, another listless day on Dalal Street, one that we ended in the red, just a shade below that 19,800 mark. And, if you look at the weekly performance, of course, we have seen, slim gains coming in, just about 0.3% uptick on the index. And we've gone literally nowhere. We started the week somewhere around that 19,750 mark and ended just around that 19,790 mark or thereabouts. So we haven't really done much by way of movement on the index, but there have been, stock specific movements. We've seen certain pockets do well, and then there were certain pockets that came under selling pressure as well. One of them being the Nifty Bank Index for the better part of the week, right? But today, of course, it was the Pharma pack that managed to make a comeback, and we saw some of the names like Cipla recover in trade, and they were emerging as the top Nifty gainers today. So the likes of Cipla, Divi's, these were among the top movers. If you look at the broader end of the markets, the mid cap index ended with slim gains today. Small cap index once again gaining somewhere around 0.3% or thereabouts. Pharma, as I mentioned, as a pack did well. Metals and banks, recovered towards the later part of the week. So Thursday and Friday, 2 days of gains coming in for the Nifty Bank Index. IT remains under pressure. Yesterday as well, I remember this particular sector was under pressure, and FMCG as a pocket also, went into, in fact, traded in the red for a better part of the week. On the losers end, you had Apollo Hospitals, Wipro, TCS, HCL Tech, Britannia. These were some of the losers. But if you look at the broader end of the markets and names of some of the movers and shakers in that end of the market, you had PSU insurers. They were on a tear. So you have the likes of New India Assurance, you have GIC, LIC. All these shares were on a tear. First two shares that I mentioned gained somewhere around 20%, and LIC 10% gains coming in there. We'll be talking about these shares in a bit. But aside of that, you had the Sun Pharma Advanced Research that was among the top Nifty 500 gainers. BHAL, that stock hit a fresh 52-week high today, up somewhere around 8% or thereabouts. Data Patterns was the other one. On the losing end, CG Power, that stock gained somewhere around 10 to 20% day before yesterday, on the back of its foray in the semiconductor space. Came under a fair bit of profit booking today. That stock ended lower by about 6% or thereabouts. KPR Mills, Paytm, there was a block deal in that counter today, so down 6%, snapped a 4-day winning streak, mind you. And Patanjali Foods, that's the other one that was under pressure today. But before we go and talk about the PSU insurance stocks, let me bring on board my guest for today. Joining me is Sameet Chavan, who's the head research, technical and derivatives at Angel One. Great to have you on the show, Sameet. The markets really haven't gone anywhere if you look at the last couple of weeks. This week, we were pretty listless, lackluster when it comes to the movement on the index, right? But individually, we had quite a few pockets do well. Pharma, of course, came under pressure yesterday due to that 8% downtick on Cipla. But today, again, we managed to stage a rebound. Realty as a pocket continues to do well. But, on the index per se, what are the charts saying? Which way are we really headed? Because, last few weeks, we haven't really gone anywhere.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on your show. See, as far as index is concerned, in last 4 days, if you see, the overall intraday range has shrunk drastically. It is quite evident that Nifty is facing strong resistance around, say, 19,850, 19,900. So that has become a very sturdy wall. Until the time we do not see, Nifty surpassing this important cluster, we would expect this consolidation to continue at higher level. You would see some tentativeness. The important factor is, the bulls have been managing to defend their important supports on any, intraday decline, a minor decline. We were observing a good buying interest in some of the heavyweight counters. Yes, as you rightly pointed out, thematically, this week has been fantastic. Pharma stocks are clearly on a roll. If you see, metal stocks have performed decent. Cement stocks have already given a good move, and realty which is almost trading at its multi-year high. So overall, if you see, it has been the week for individual stocks, individual pockets, but key indices remained in a very slender range. So as far as range is concerned, as I said, 19,850, 19,900 on the higher side for Nifty, and low side there's a support, strong support zone we can see in the range of 19,600 to 19,550. So let's see, any directional move is likely to happen only after a sustainable breakout on either side. So if Nifty managed to sustain beyond 99, and then probably we could see it heading towards its previous highs of 20,200 also. And any slide below 19,600, we would see some sort of consolidation with a negative bias, and then probably 19,400, 350 can be retested. So as of now, 200 250 points range that we are observing on Nifty 50. Any directional move is possible only on a breakout on either side once it happens. 19,850, 900 on the high side, and 19,600 on the low side.
All right, so 19,850, that's the crucial zone that one should be watching out for on the Nifty. But talking about the Nifty Bank Index, 43,700 is where it's at, but 43,500 is being looked upon as a crucial support zone, right? For the next week, given the fact that we've seen a good rebound coming in the last two sessions, do you expect Nifty Bank to head higher next week?
Well, banking index has been having some interesting moves in last couple of days. So, barring last couple of days, previous 5 trading sessions, Bank Nifty was the weakest link. We witnessed a decent correction from the recent highs of 44,500 and probably towards 43,200. So, which coincided with the 200-day simple moving average as well. In last couple of days, we have seen some traction in banking counters. HDFC Bank. It has given some decent buying momentum. If you see Axis Bank, it has recovered a fair bit in last 4 to 5 trading sessions. So overall, banking index is interestingly poised. 44,000, 44,400 is the cluster to watch out for Bank Nifty. And in the coming week, if we see Bank Nifty surpassing 44,000 on a closing basis, we would see then probably banking index leading from the front, and then probably 44,800, 45,000 looks on card as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. On the lower side now, this week's low, which is around 43,200, remains to be a sacrosanct support. Until the time Bank Nifty holds that important support, there is no reason to worry for. But once we slide below 43,200, we could see a near-term correction in banking index.
All right, 44,000, 44,400, a good cluster to watch out for on the Nifty Bank Index. But you mentioned some names, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank. Chartically, do you think Axis Bank is the best poised at the current juncture?
See, overall, relative strength-wise, yes, Axis Bank has been, one of the rank outperformer. But with recent price action, we saw a nosedive from the levels of 1,050 in a matter of 3 days. Stock, was back to 980, which is the important support cluster. And in last 4-5 days, yes, it has managed to crawl back. But overall, if you see 1020, 1040 remains to be very strong resistance. So as of now, although the overall relative strength has been slightly higher as compared to other peer counters, we are seeing some consolidation happening in Axis Bank. On the higher side, 1,040.50 remains to be a very strong resistance, and lower side 980 should be seen as a key support for Axis Bank.
All right, those are the levels to watch out for Axis Bank. But then, let's talk about one pocket that was buzzing in trade today. And, we saw the PSU insurance stocks like LIC, GIC, New India Assurance, all these stocks rallied anywhere between 10 to 20% apiece. Let me just give you a background. LIC, of course, management has indicated that it plans to launch somewhere around 3 to 4 products in the next a few months. In fact, this fiscal itself, and it is aiming to achieve double-digit growth in new business premium, right? Just to remind you, Q2 earnings weren't all that great. We saw a 50% drop in its profit on the back of lower premium income. And management has also indicated that aside of the product launches that they are looking at, trends indicate that there has been an uptick in individual retail business as well. For the better part of the year, LIC was stuck in a downtrend, of course, right? You had the whole Adani issue also play out, and then the earnings came out. But, today's up move, does it, indicate a trend reversal of any sort on the charts?
Yeah, certainly looks like, this stock has been, we were seeing it struggling around its important cluster of 595, 600. Overall, if you see within this space, its peer counters, whether it's New India Assurance or GIC, they have been clearly on the roll, and we have seen massive buying interest in this peer counters. But LIC was clearly lagging. And yesterday we saw first sign of strength wherein this stock, managed to surpass 600, 615 on a closing basis with decent rise in volume. But the kind of price action and volume activity that we witnessed today, it clearly indicates, at least a short-term trend reversal in this particular counter. So we would see some catch-up move from this particular counter now. It has been, consolidating for a very long period of time. So at least for the short term, we could see that the slumber phase is over for LIC, and from here on, immediately 690, 92, which is the important resistance zone. But once it surpasses the kind of volume activity that we witnessed today, it suggests that we are likely to see a breakout happening in next probably couple of days time beyond 692, and then this stock can head towards 740, 750 in the near term.
Right, but what about a New India Assurance? This stock has gained somewhere around 50% in the last 1 month. Do you think there is some sign of fatigue, or do you think this rally is going to continue from here?
See, it would be very difficult to comment whether the stock would give any sort of fatigue in the near term or not. Because overall, yes, if you see the volumes in last 5 to 6 trading sessions have been significant. There has been a significant rise in volumes, and along with the breakout that happened a couple of weeks back around 150. So this particular stock was on our radar a couple of weeks back. We were seeing 150 as a crucial resistance, but the moment it broke that important level with decent volumes, there has been no stopping. Yes, of course, the low hanging fruit is already gone for this particular counter, but any decent dip or some sort of time wise consolidation would be a good buying opportunity in case those who have missed this the entire rally which started from the levels of 135. So any minor dip towards 190, 185 would make it an attractive risk to reward candidate. Whether it will happen, the decline will happen or not, that the time will tell. But risk reward wise, one should wait for some decline or a time wise consolidation towards 190, 185.
All right, that's the call then on a New India Assurance. But let's talk about Cipla then. Yesterday we saw the stock crash somewhere around 7 to 8%. Of course, concerns about USFDA issues persist, and we got to know the details of the warning letter that USFDA has issued to Cipla. And but of course, it was a sentiment dampener, 8% kind of a downtick on a share like Cipla. HSBC came out with a report today. It has retained the buy rating and cut the target price slightly. It says that, of course, it will be a lengthy timeline, and the company will take some time to resolve these issues, but no great risk when it comes to its key inhaler drug launch. That is anyway delayed by a few, by a couple of quarters. So on the charts, after the kind of dip that we saw yesterday, do you think now is the right time to buy into it? Because Street, of course, is also awaiting some kind of details when it comes to the promoter stake sale. There has been no details regarding that, and since then the stock has fizzled out quite a bit. But this particular dip that we saw in the share prices, do you think one should nibble into it right now?
In our sense, although the entire pharma space is on a roll, Cipla, which has already given decent move from the lower levels, the kind of, price, action that we witnessed yesterday, massive, brutal knock that we saw from the levels of 1260, 1280, stock nosedive towards 1160. Yes, although today we are seeing some resilience in the prices, overall, if you see the short-term chart has been dented. So 1280 remains to be a very strong resistance in the near term, and there's a defined range, at least in the short term, 1280, 1290 on the higher side and 1140 on the lower side. So we would expect some, consolidation or time-wise correction to continue in this particular counter in next couple of weeks at least. So one should wait and watch. Price-wise, in case if it gives further dip towards 1120, 1100, that would be an excellent opportunity to get into this particular counter. Or else after some consolidation, time-wise correction, if the stock managed to surpass 1280, one can certainly get into this particular counter with a confirmation on a breakout beyond 1280.
All right, 1280. Watch out for that level on Cipla. Let's talk about a Paytm. Shares have snapped a 4-day up move. Going forward, would you expect the stock to, kind of head higher, or because of course there are expectations that the company will turn into profits pretty soon, and also it has been included in the MSCI Global Index. So there are, some semblance of good news around the counter, but RBI's norms did come as a dampener. But going forward, do you think this is the right time to buy it, or you think, kind of give it a miss right now, perhaps look at it at a later time?
Clearly, this stock has slipped into a consolidation mode. If you see in last 2 to 3 months, stock has not done much. Yes, gradually it's been moving higher. A series of higher highs, higher lows can be witnessed on daily time frame chart. But stock is now resting around its important cluster of support. So in case of dip towards 850, 830, that would be a buying opportunity. Overall, if you see with a slightly broader view, we are quite upbeat on this counter and will not be surprised to see the stock 1,000 mark in next 2 to 3 months time. So overall, the bias remains positive. Yes, the stock is in a consolidation mode. One can certainly get into this counter in a one can accumulate in a staggered manner, right from current level to a dip towards 850, 830.
All right. Let's also talk about a Honasa consumer. I know it's a new listing, not much data to look at. But in the last two sessions, the stock has gained somewhere around 35 to 38%. Would you expect the stock to hit that 550 mark sometime soon? I mean, I know there isn't much data available, but what's your sense?
No, honestly speaking, technically it would be very difficult to comment on this counter.
Right. Talk about the BHEL. This stock has hit a fresh 52-week high as well. In fact, on a YTD basis, the stock is up 90%. In the last 1 month, it has rallied 30%. I mean, how much higher could it head from here?
See, I mean, this stock has already managed to surpass its important clusters. 135, 140 has been acting as a very strong resistance in last, 5 to 6 years now. So after nearly 6, 7 years, this stock has managed to surpass this 140, 145 kind of trajectory. With this on monthly chart, also we are seeing this particular stock surpassing its 200-day exponential moving average. So this particular development clearly indicates the kind of price and volume activity that we witnessed today. Overall, this stock is clearly on the up move. Now 175, 180, these are the next levels to watch out for. And then probably this stock, if I have to take slightly broader view, will not be even surprised to see this stock even heading towards 195, 200 mark. So overall, the bias remains positive. Any decline from current level would be a good buying opportunity. Now, as far as important support base is concerned, 115 to 125 should be seen as a very strong support. Any decline, meanwhile, should be used as a buying opportunity.
All right, buy on dips when it comes to BHEL, and 200 is one level that cannot be ruled out when it comes to this particular stock. But before I come to your recommendations, I would like to ask you about the entire two-wheeler pocket, right? Hero Moto, Bajaj Auto. These stocks have been hitting fresh 52-week highs, literally on a daily basis for the last 2 to 3 sessions. Vis-a-vis Bajaj Auto, how is Hero Moto looking like on the charts?
See, overall, Bajaj Auto has been the rank outperformer, and now we are seeing some catch up happening from the Hero Moto. Overall, if you see, the chart structure looks quite promising as far as Hero Moto is concerned. On the monthly chart, we have already seen a decisive breakout happening in this counter. With a slightly broader view, we have a target for Hero Moto somewhere around 3,900 to 4,000. But with a short-term view, will not be surprised to see the stock, hastening towards 3,700, 3,720. So minor dip probably towards 3,430 or 3,400 would be a good buying opportunity for Hero Moto. And as I said, 3,700, 3,730, these are the immediate levels to watch out for.
All right, those are the levels to watch out for. Of course, Hero is looking, much better on charts when compared to Bajaj Auto. But before I let you go, Sameet, anything that you want to recommend for our viewers for the coming week or for the next couple of weeks going forward?
We have a couple of ideas. One would be on the long side and one would be on the short side. So on the long side, if you see, metal has been buzzing since last couple of days. So from the cash segment, we have Jindal Stainless Limited JSL, which is poised for a decent move. It is likely to enter an uncharted territory. The kind of price and volume activity that we witnessed in last couple of weeks The stock is expected to move towards say 580, 585 probably in next couple of weeks time. So it's a buy from our end. 585 is the immediate target, and one can buy this particular stock with a stop around 514. On the short side, Cholamandalam investment, it is clearly showing some sort of weakness. Stock has already slid below its important support of 1020, 1030, and today we are seeing another breakdown happening in this counter. So next week probably we would see this weakness getting extended. 1060, 1050, these are the next levels to watch out for. As a momentum trader, one can short at current level, keep a stop loss around 1124, and the target would be around 105.
All right, so a long call on Jindal Stainless and a short one on Chula Investment. With that, Sameet, thanks a lot for taking our time and joining in this afternoon and sharing your insights with us on stocks as well as the markets. But with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Closing Bell. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below. And of course, just a reminder, next week is a truncated week. We have a market holiday on Monday. So come back and join us on Tuesday morning when we get back with the markets. But for now, thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Money Control for all your other news and updates.